Crash shuts down a Lexington road for hours. What we've learned about the investigation.
Fayette County will have a new location for its Office of Probation and Parole, and it's upsetting some folks that live and work around the new sites.
Police call it a major problem near the Kentucky-Tennessee border. WKYT investigates how police are trying to stop prostitution there.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. WKYT News starts now with breaking news.
Good evening. Police across the region are searching right now for a stolen car with an 8-month-old baby in the back seat. Georgetown police tell us the car was stolen about 40 minutes ago from the pilot station on Cherry Blossom Way. That's off of exit 129 on Interstate 75.
The car is a silver Honda with a Kentucky Farm license plate. The car was last seen headed south on I-75. We have a crew on the way to the scene, and we'll have the very latest as it becomes available and on WKYT.com as well. In the last hour, we have learned some new information about a deadly crash in Lexington. The coroner's office now confirms 2 people were killed.
That crash happened about 4 hours ago on Bryan Station Road near Johnston Road. Garrett Weimer is tracking the new details in the investigation. He has our top story at 6.
The scene is now clear on Bryan Station Road after that deadly crash, but it was closed down for a couple of hours while police tried to figure out what exactly happened. Police tell us a blue car was pulling onto Bryan Station Road from Johnston Road when it was hit. 2 other cars driving in opposite directions on Bryan Station were also part of that crash. Police, though, do not know what caused the crash. Police say 4 people in total were in the 3 cars. From Bryan Station Road, you can see the blue car in the intersection with a white car smashed against the fence, pinned in by a white truck pulling a trailer. Again, the Fayette County Coroner's Office does confirm that 2 people were killed in this crash. They have not yet released their names. In Lexington, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
Right now, some strong storms are slowly moving across parts of the state.
And they could raise the risk of flash flooding for tonight. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey shows us what he's tracking right now, really putting down some rain in places.
Yeah, very slow-moving storms out there, and now we're tracking another cluster of maybe severe storms out around the Louisville metro. Let's get into it on a busy Live First Alert Defender with those thunderstorms to the northeast of Lexington that are really putting down the rainfall across Harrison County, though the strongest part of the storms are now just to the south. Flash flood warning eastern Harrison County until 7:30 until 8:45 for the western parts of Harrison County. General heavy rains right now across Cynthiana. Heaviest stuff is off to the west of us. Another little round coming into parts of western Harrison County from the Sadieville area and Corinth, right on top of Interstate 75. That action continues now into eastern parts of Scott County and right on top of Paris here into Bourbon County, parts of Nicholas County towards Sharpsburg, and sections of Montgomery County. We'll have to watch the creeks and streams in those particular areas as well as those storms continue to kind of dive in from northwest to southeast. If anything now, starting to see this line heading more due south, and parts of Clark County may get in on that action. Now, this little cluster of thunderstorms going severe on top of the Louisville metro. Winds 50-60 miles per hour with that cluster that is diving in from northwest to southeast. That may hold together as it heads toward parts of Franklin and Anderson counties in about an hour from now. The overall setup, guys, with a lot of humidity in the air, cold front on top of the region, it's a good recipe to get additional rounds of strong storms as the evening wears on.
They say it's not good for their neighborhood. Tonight, some people who live and work near the Palomar Center off Harrodsburg Road in Lexington aren't happy that the state is moving its Lexington Office of Probation and Parole to the area. Sam Smith has the story new at 6.
We're concerned about our property value, the safety of our property, and the safety of the people that live here.
That's an opinion shared by some business and homeowners around the Palomar Center area. The Probation and Parole Office is moving from its location downtown to this vacant office space on Wellington Way.
My first thought was, why would you move something in such a centralized location out to the far south end of Lexington?
Councilwoman Amanda Bledsoe says no one from the city was notified of the move. She says that's concerning because this is a residential area with a daycare nearby. State Representative Stan Lee says he urges Governor Beshear, Secretary Michael Brown, and Commissioner LaDonna Thompson to take immediate action to address the concerns of everyone who will be impacted. A Department of Corrections spokesperson says there aren't any laws preventing this office from being so close to a daycare center. That spokesperson says the reason behind the move is because the current building is too small and deteriorating. The state says when they opened up for bids to find new offices, the owner of this space near the Palomar Center was the only person to submit a bid. Homeowners maintain their concerns.
It's not a good fit for this part of town.
In Lexington, Sam Smith, WKYT.
A move-in date has not been announced yet. State Representative Stan Lee says if necessary, he plans on filing legislation in the 2016 session to address how people are notified if something like a parole center moves in near their neighborhood.
New tonight, Versailles police are looking for those responsible for smashing 30 car windows around the city. Police say that car owners in multiple neighborhoods reported the vandalism overnight. The owner of a Camry in the Lanes View neighborhood tells us that someone broke his windshield and his rear window.
I mean, it's really disrespectful just to beat people's windows in, having to pay for that and everything. It's not right.
Police in Versailles say nothing was taken from any of the cars. They say they have a few leads in the case. They think the vandals may have been driving a white or silver SUV.
It is not the kind of welcome police want visitors to have in Kentucky. They say there's a prostitution problem in some areas near the Tennessee state line, and police say it's tough to stop it. As investigative reporter Miranda Combs found out, while the number of arrests are low, police say that doesn't mean prostitution isn't happening.
Our investigation starts just south of the state line and ends just north of it. Our first stop, a place called Veterans Park in Jellicoe, Tennessee. This is where police told us the heavy presence of possible prostitution starts. We pulled up, and sitting on a curb was this lady in a yellow shirt. We watched as a man in a blazer appears to be signaling something with his parking lights. Minutes later, with no response, he decides he's been here long enough and bails. So we switch sides of the street as other men and women gathered at the park. This was around 10 on Friday night. And within 5 minutes, that lady in the yellow shirt is approached and they cross the street together and head up a dark alley. Our next stop, just up 75 and across the Kentucky line at the Welcome Center, the second place of heavy prostitution, police say. We talked to a worker who wants to stay anonymous.
So they show up here in the middle of the day and at night?
Yeah, at nighttime. Come down here and pop their hoods.
How do you know they're prostituting?
Because they'll go beat on the truck doors. They'll go from one to one to one. They'll go from one to the other one.
And you said they bring their kids?
Yeah, there's a couple of them's got kids, brings their kids up here.
We did not see anything suspicious around 11 on this Friday night. We headed up to the final stop, the Pilot Station in Williamsburg, another hot spot according to police.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how bad is the problem?
About an 8. Yeah, it's every night. Every night.
Mark Teague has worked here since 2006 and been manager for the past 4 years.
They bring them down here and drop them off and let them do everything they do. And when they see us, they'll take off running, get in a car, even up front beside our parking lots. They'll get in the car and take off as fast as they can to get out of here.
He says it's a system for the women that starts back in Jellicoe and ends here.
They'll bring them down here because they know the area real good, and they'll let them work it and then take back off, hit the interstate, and be right back at Jellicoe before you know it.
We receive a lot of anonymous tips and complaints from just the general public and then people who frequent that area that there is, it's a known prostitution areas.
But making arrests, Williamsburg Police Sergeant Brandon White says, is challenging. There's a lot to prove with sometimes little proof.
You've got to have pretty much proof of it, whether it be recorded in cooperation with both sources and know and verify it.
The reason for frustrations from those who work along this stretch of interstate, watching an illegal activity day after day.
It's very difficult. We get the complaints, but we have to prove that that's what is in fact going on.
And this map here is proof that making arrests for prostitution can be challenging. Kentucky State Police say last year there were 235 arrests involving prostitution in the state. That's for all agencies that report to state police. You'll notice Whitley County on the map shows no arrests for prostitution. I did talk to Jellicoe Police as well. They say they have made some arrests at that park we showed you in our story, but again, they say it is difficult.
Sure, and Miranda, you guys were there and you actually saw for yourself how difficult it is to make these arrests.
When we were at the pilot station, there was actually a complaint that came through for prostitution, but police interviewed the lady and the evidence just didn't show prostitution. So she was arrested, but it was for public intoxication.
So frustrated police and frustration for us trying to cover the story as well and uncover what's going on.
Yes, thanks.
Both. Thanks, Miranda. Tonight, investigators are trying to figure out what caused part of the roof of a Lexington church to collapse. It happened at the Palomar Baptist Church on Fort Harrods Drive. No one was injured in the collapse. The pastor says church leaders first started noticing problems with the roof back in the spring.
And in April, the 19th of April was our last time in that part of the building.
The pastor says the church has a second facility that members can use while this part of the building is repaired. The church was already working with an insurance company to repair the roof when it collapsed. Tonight, 2 animal shelters face overcrowding because of one man's dogs.
On Monday, police say 7 of Chris Pope's dogs attacked a woman in Lincoln County. 6 of the dogs were captured and taken to the Lincoln County Animal Shelter. The 7th was killed. When police arrested Pope yesterday, they say they seized another dozen dogs from his Danville home. Those dogs are at the Boyle County Shelter. That shelter had some of Pope's dogs earlier this year as police investigated an animal cruelty case, but the dogs were returned to him just last week.
One does get frustrated with waiting for the process to go through its course, and you have to deal with it.
The Boyle County Shelter is working with rescue groups to find foster homes for the dogs being kept there. As for the woman attacked, Loretta Stevens, her daughter says she is doing better and could be released from the hospital in the next day.
Cyclists in Lexington now have another route to ride in Lexington. Today, Lexington city leaders and UK unveiling a new shared use path at the Arboretum for both cyclists and walkers. They say it will connect South Lexington neighborhoods to the UK campus and downtown. That path runs from Shady Lane through the Arboretum Woods to University Court. UK leaders say this will be a safer route for cyclists who commute through campus every day.